Today we're in the garden with the peas, picking up on our series of creative conflict for keeping up intimacy. Creative conflict is a way to work with conflict so that when you rework it, you're actually working on a collaboration. You establish the same goals with your partner, in this case of keeping up intimacy. You establish the same goals and you use the conflict to get there creatively. Our last tip and teaching was about laying off assessment into intimacy when you get into conflict. Just to review that for a second, laying off the assessment means that by looking at the other, you're not spending your time and energy as much assessing in any way, which also means judging, but assessing what they're doing, what's going on for them, that they're manipulative, that they're scared, that they're disrespectful, that they're lying, cheating even. Because what matters is coming back to understanding your own values, standing in what you value, and then creating the invitation, which is what we're going to focus on today. Turns out the invitation is often very challenging for people, and that's part of why I love it. There are things we get distracted with when we're assessing and judging the other, or even judging ourselves, that don't help us align with the core of our being, be our brilliance, and create a better outcome. So when I guide folks to come to the invitation, it's often uncomfortable and uncertain, and that's what we're going to get into today. What are you inviting your partner to? That means leaving out what they've done wrong and what you may have done wrong, because that's not inviting us forward. But we learn from the past to take some data. Let's just take something as simple as someone not showing up on time in a regular way. So the invitation is, it would be meaningful to me if when we set a time we stick to it. Could you do that with me? So that's a small bit that can be done in any moment on any day. It's not necessarily a 5 bullet point invitation. It's just one little invitation, and you're asking someone to join you in that. The response might be, sure, I know how to adjust that. Sure, I'd do that. The response might be, I don't care to. It doesn't matter to me. And then you have more information. The response might be, I could do that if you would help me with a reminder, if you would also do the same. So there could be these ifs. What we're talking about in this type of skillful communications based in solutions, creative conflict, and mediation, what we're talking about is generating some kind of agreement. So your invitation is still the step to hopefully getting an agreement that keeps up your intimacy instead of taking it down. The principles are to take the negative and turn it around to a invitation, to take what you think has been going wrong and invite something. For instance, invite a walk every Sunday where you review how the week's going and how everyone's feeling. Invite using a mediator on a regular basis for a certain period of time. In some situations where the bottom has gone out and you've been living together, you might want to invite a separation period. Again, to use this as an example, it's a different approach than saying, I'm fed up, I'm tired of this, get out, I need some space. You could say that in a heated moment, but we're talking about a skillful communication that keeps up intimacy and makes conflict creative. So in that case, your written invitation would include, I invite us to find separate residences for such and such period of time, and use the support of a mediator, a counselor, our best friend, or aunt. Turns out when you sit in a gentle garden, you might have a muffler or a loud stereo going by. It's part of the comprehensive nature of life. Okay, so I hope I've given enough examples about what generating an invitation could look like and where that comes from, what kind of inner work and recentering you do to create this invitation for the one that you love. It's hard to get really specific because there's so many different situations, but the principle is anything that looks like, I'm done with that, that can't happen anymore, I'm at the limit, it all just comes back to helping you clarify what you value and then inviting the other to that. Usually in the invitation, it's going to be some specific terms like times, structures, who we get to help, how we approach the issues we have seen you are dealing with, the issues we've seen I am dealing with, how we agree to approach them, what vision we hold together could be in the invitation. And that's about your 5, 6, or 7 bullet points. If you'd like to get help with your specific situation, feel free to text or call and get scheduled for your no-charge discovery call and maybe get started on a piece of work together. Feel free to write something in the comments and I might be able to respond there or in our Facebook page. Final note on the invitation to your intimate partner after things maybe have bottomed out or gotten too shaky. If you feel like, after considering these 2 videos, if you feel like, I don't want to offer that person anything, I have nothing to invite, then you're probably not interested in keeping up intimacy. But if you can find that love inside of you, if you can find that you respect and appreciate so much in this other person, if you have a long history together, it's really worth taking yourself through a flip and undoing some of your habitual ways of self-protection, destructive conflict, pushing or hiding, yelling or running away. It could be worth gathering yourself around, learning what you value, and inviting someone to come with you.